Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I'd like to share with you some reasons why you should buy the E85 BMW Z4 Roadster. I've had this car about a year now and covered a few miles both as a daily commuter but also what it was made for. The simple joy of driving with the added benefit of the open air and sunshine, and that brings me on to my first reason you should buy one. It's a convertible. Now it's fair to say in the UK we love a convertible. Good weather like this doesn't come around too often, and when it does we soak it up as much as possible. People flock to beaches and parks to worship the fiery ball in the sky, and you'll see a lot more people cruising around with the roof down. And in this car you can join in and top up your tan as you go. Of course there is the simple freedom of just having the roof down as well, having the wind around you, being able to take more of the scenery in as you drive through. And with the windows up as well, it's not too windy either. The next reason is the driving experience. If you want sharp handling with superb grip and a selection of great sounding engines, then look no further. It's a simple recipe. You've got a straight 6 lump up front, power through the rear and near perfect weight distribution. And you sit right back on the rear axle, so you get a sense of being fired out of corners as the rear tyres bite into the tarmac. Some owners comment on the steering that it lacks feel because it's electric instead of hydraulic, but you always feel what the car is doing around you. And as with all BMWs from this age, you've got 3 levels of traction control. You've got on, which cuts the power any sniff of wheel spin. Then you've got DTC, or dynamic traction control, which gives you a bit of a safety net but still lets the rear slide around. And then you've got completely off, which combined with an open differential can be a little bit unpredictable. Losing the rear unexpectedly isn't my idea of fun, so I'd use that mode with some caution. A lot of people swap out the run flats on these cars as well because they can track on the uneven road, especially here in the UK. I've got some Michelin PS4s on this car which do the job really well, smooth out the ride and offer plenty of grip. As with any sports car, the ride is going to be a bit firm, but it's great for blasting these country B roads and puts a smile on my face every single time. Another reason to have one of these cars are the looks, and in my mind it embodies the Roadster format. Long bonnet, small cabin, soft top roof. But it goes further than that. You see, when the car first came out it was something new in terms of design. It has an odd looking front that has grown on me over time. It looks a bit like a shark from some angles. The side of the car shows off the flame surfacing. There was a new concept in car design. In fact, there's a very interesting video online where Anders Warman, the architect of this car, talks through his ideas for the design, so make sure you look that up. You will see from the initial drawings for this car that they all featured this prominent Z on the side of the car, and the flared shape emphasises the front end even further. But they didn't forget about the back of the car. The wide wheel arches flow into the tapered lines that meets the ducktail spoiler. And here, I would say, is the best view of the Z4. Powerful but elegant. Now, it certainly has had its critics, especially when it was first released, but personally I think it looks great even after all these years. I might even say it's a future classic. A lot of people will have the Z4 as a second car, something for the weekend or road trip with their significant other. And that brings me on to the interior of this car, which seats 2 people comfortably. There is elbow room, ample head and leg room, even for me at 6 foot, and half decent speakers as standard, although I have put in a different head unit so I can have Bluetooth. Storage could be better. In fact, in here all you get is a small glove box, very shallow door pockets, this little cubby hole and a couple more behind each seat. The boot, however, has 220 litres of space, even with the roof down, which is half that of a compact SUV. But as you've got half the number of seats in here, it's more than enough to carry luggage for 2 people. You won't be expecting much practicality or comfort from a sports car, but the Z4 has enough of both to make it another reason to have one. So now we're back on the road, it's important to consider what it takes to keep it on the road instead of in the workshop. After all, this is the first generation of Z4s and they can be anything between 12 and 17 years old. And over time, parts are going to fail. For the most part, the 6-pot engines are strong and they thrive on revs, although they can suffer with oil leaks from old gaskets, which is normally an easy fix. This car has close to 100,000 miles on it and it still feels as solid as ever, and I'm sure with the proper servicing and maintenance it will still go on for many miles to come. One of the most common faults on this car is the roof motor, which sits in its own drainage well. Not the greatest idea, but over time it does corrode, and of course then one day it just fails. I did a video on that actually of me repairing it if you're interested. So is reliability another reason to have one? Well, sort of. The build quality is there and it's not going to crumble away with rust like some other Roadsters of this age. But don't buy one thinking that you're not going to have to spend a bit of money and time on its upkeep. After all, I'm sure you'd prefer to be driving it instead of it being parked up because you didn't take the advice to replace something and then it breaks completely. At least you can be happy that you won't have paid huge amounts for the car in the first place. And that brings me on to my final point. For this Z4 here in the UK, I paid £2,400. It's an early model 2.5i with good service history, but this one has a few bodywork issues, so it's not pristine. You'd pay about £3,000–4,000 for a similar age and condition 3 litre i, and anything up to sort of £6,000 for a low mileage one with fresh paintwork. There were over 180,000 E85s made worldwide, so you should be able to pick one up for a good price wherever you might live. After all, it's about what you get for your money. A fun, engaging drive in an open-top Roadster capable of tearing up B roads and cruising in comfort somewhere for the weekend. Any sports car with 4 seats are practically unusable anyway, as they have zero legroom in the back, so you may as well just go for 2. To sum it up then, the Z4 offers many reasons why it deserves your ownership. It's desirable, it offers driving joy whilst behind the wheel, and it's not going to break the bank. True, there are better options out there if you're willing to spend a little extra money, but in my eyes, it's a cracking little car. As ever, thanks for watching, and if you are enjoying the videos, please feel free to hit the like button and subscribe for more content. See you next time.